So here is one render from our render sets, and as I mentioned earlier, I will probably do quite a few different renders of this mech. I might even take it back into Substance Painter, try some different materials on it, and even maybe try and do some materials in KeyShot itself and create some different versions of it as well. So the good news about having an asset like this in 3D is that the possibilities are endless. I have modeled this thing so I can articulate it, so I'll probably be doing that as well. Maybe throw a rig in it and move the legs, create some action shots and whatnot. Right now we are just going for a beauty shot. But the journey of this can go on for quite a long time, and the good news about doing concepting in 3D is that you can, again, just throw this into the game and then have maybe an artist retopo it so it's less geometry, or for movies you can add a rig to it, animate it in a movie, and you can also have it be in VR. So it can have a lot of different uses, and it's kind of a really versatile and more advanced way to create concept designs than to just paint something up in Photoshop. And so again, the iteration value, the 3D value, the ability to look at it from different angles, the fact that you have a pre-built asset are definitely valuable advancements in what we can do today. So last but not least, let's go ahead and do some changes to this render. So this render is right out of KeyShot. And you can do some adjustments in KeyShot as well, but I like to do my adjustments in Photoshop, sometimes even in Lightroom, and also I have a couple of filters that I like to use, and I'll show them to you as well. So first, here we have the layer. It's always good to create a duplicate of the layer, so you just have a existing copy just in case something happens to this one. And the first thing I'll do here is just take that exact image and multiply it to each other. So that basically is the same image multiplied, and then I'll change the opacity of that multiplication, and that basically just gives it a little bit more of a oomph. And so that's good. And then what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and create a version of this that we basically will work on from this point forward. So Alt and merge visible here. And so I'm going to hide these two. We don't care about them. And here's the multiplied image. And then the next thing I want to do here is add an adjustment layer. Let's go ahead and add some curve adjustment layers, a curve adjustment layer to this. And here I think I want this foreground to stand out a little bit more, but I also don't want to destroy the clouds in the back. So I'm going to try and adjust this a little bit like so to get this to be a little bit clearer and have it pop out more from the background. So that is looking good as well. And let's see, some other things I can do here are, I think I'm pretty happy with what I got here. So then I'll just go ahead and add my filters. So one filter I like to use is the exposure software filter actually here. Since I have this again, let's go ahead and accept a copy of this as well to just have one that's basically we're happy with. So again, Alt and merge visible. And then we don't really need these two anymore. And then for this one, I'm going to go ahead and add a filter. And from exposure software, X5 is pretty good. You can do some neat stuff in it. So we'll wait a couple of seconds for that to come up. And that's over here, like so. And what I like about this is that it's got a bunch of different presets, and you can go ahead and take a look at these presets. So let me... and you can have these be pretty big, so you basically are seeing a real-time view of the different presets that are available to you. And I'm going to see if I can dock this. Here we go. So here I'm just looking through all the different presets that it has available. And let's go ahead and see what this one looks like. And there are quite a few. So if I bring this history up, there's some bokeh ones, so you can get different images like this. And there's quite a few, and sometimes I use these as is, and sometimes I make modifications to them. As you can see, there's a lot of really interesting ones, like maybe this one's kind of an interesting looking one. So it kind of gives me some ideas for compositions that might be good. In addition to just the bokeh ones, there's some ones that have some cinema grains to them as well, which are a little bit kind of, so, you can get things like this. So it's kind of nice because you get the previews, so you can just go through here And I think I can make this even bigger. And you can go through here and see what the different options are. Here's like an old photograph version. And so I can get a lot of iterations of the look before I make a final decision. So these were the cinema ones, I think. And then there are aged film versions as well. And so I can go through and look at here. And at this point, I'm just basically doing some kind of ideation, I guess, of a look dev and thinking what would look good for something like this. So this kind of looks like an old photograph. It's kind of interesting. So I can go ahead and, go ahead and maybe take this one and apply it. And so what that will do is it'll add it in a layer. So that's kind of interesting. So this is what we had before, and now we have this one, which yellows it out a little bit, creates more of a kind of an aged, maybe a photograph that was done with film. Okay, so that's good. And then what I'll do here is I'll just lift this one up to the top, and then let's go ahead and run the filter again. Maybe pick out another interesting look as well. So here we go. So in addition to the presets for, not history, but presets here for the film, old film, we can also look at, let's see, some Polaroid looking ones. So I guess this is what it would look like if we took a Polaroid photo of it. And it's really interesting how they really nail some of these looks. So it's kind of like Instagram filters, but so much more than that. And this one looks really good here too. Looks like polychrome. It looks good. So I can just kind of cycle through these and find some that are interesting. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more here. So there are some for print. Let's see, and these would be good to print. And this one looks really nice and sharp. So these are the different kinds of prints, I guess, that you can get, film prints. And this one really makes it pop out. This almost looks like a photograph. So we'll go ahead and take this one and accept it. So here you can see it added the film grain. It's kind of a really interesting one to have. So I'm going to add that to the list here. And then go in and run this filter just one last time here. So I have some different versions of it. Again, I can choose which one to post. And some of these I use for promotional reasons, and some of them also are used for pitches. So depending on the mood of the movie, or you can kind of maybe use some of these filters to apply more to the type of mood you're going for. There's some vintage ones too, and these are pretty neat. So let's see what vintage versions of the mech look like. So can I go even bigger here? No, I think this is the biggest. And so here you can see what it would look like in a vintage view. I'm sure at some point I'll hit the sepia ones in this list. But yeah, it's kind of a nice, this is like another way of doing ideation and iteration. So this kind of would look like it's in a photo album somewhere, and yeah, so you can see here that I still haven't hit sepia. Maybe there isn't a sepia one. Okay, so there are those ones, and then there's quite a few other ones as well, lo-fi ones and whatnot. So I can kind of maybe take a look at these ones as well real quick. And you can see that there's just a really large number of these that are available to you. And of course, in addition to the presets, which is basically the value of this software, is that it has a lot of presets for you. You can actually go in and actually do some of the work yourself. So here, if I just want to add a vignette, for example, I can just go in here and go ahead and choose the amount I want for the vignette. So let's say about there, and I can choose the size of it, like maybe there. So I just added a vignette, and I can choose the softness of it as well. And I think that looks good, and then apply that. So, and it adds every single one of these as a layer, so you can go back and forth between the different layers and choose the one that works best for you. Okay, so this is one filter that I use, and then another one here, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the bottom. And then another one that I also use quite a bit is from Nik, and that's over here, Nik Collection, and I use Sharpener Pro, so this one right here. And this is kind of a one-click thing. There's a lot of features in this that I don't use. I don't really use the photography aspects of a lot of these filters. but they definitely do add a lot to what I'm doing. So here I'm going to try and see if I can resize this. Probably I have to go to the corner to do it, or maybe I can't resize it. It seems like I can't resize the window, which is really odd in today's day and age. But you can also already see here that it's applied that filter, and it's a sharpening filter that works really, really well. So it kind of makes the model pop out. So here I'm just going to go ahead and accept this. Okay. And it's just basically a one-stop shop that creates this sharpened version of it. So for you to see what the difference is, you can see how here the edges are softer, but here it just sharpens them up and pops them out. So probably this is the first thing I would do, and then take it into exposure and look at other options. So here we go. We have our final image, and this is the one that I'll be using for this Gnomon workshop. And then again, as I mentioned, I will continue to update this mech with different options. Again, I haven't done any articulation. These guns, remember, they fall down, so that's a whole other look for it. I've got 8 legs to work with and articulate them as well, and I can put them in all sorts of different settings. So it's a really nice journey that I've started. And for all of the mechs that I make, I usually go back to them at some point and repost newer images of them, and also spend a good amount of time just creating different iterations and different looks. And hopefully this has been a useful workshop for you. And I'm sure that with all the tools that I've used, if they are in your list of tools that you use, you have picked up a thing or two to make your workflow better. Again, thanks for watching, and hope to see you around. Thanks.